Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. And thanks to Irina and the board at AIT for organising this afternoon's get-together. Using LinkedIn to win engagements, best possible practice in marketing for ourselves as self-employed and our services via social media. Well, how do I have the right to discuss the best use of LinkedIn to win engagement? Surely there are those who are much better practiced and who are absolute experts in social media to be able to give you much more information about getting the best out of this particular resource. All I can do is go back on my experience, go back on what I've learned, how I've benefited from LinkedIn, the mistakes I've made, explored best practice in terms of winning response to the messages that I wanted to get out via LinkedIn. So that's what today's about. It's a very personal view. It's my view. It's my view based on my experience. And my experience both working in major corporates such as the Evening Standard, such as companies in the Middle East and in the GCC, but also as a self-employed sole trader, as a management consultant, where for many years I worked with LinkedIn as my main tool to engage with audiences and through engagement to create discussion, to create dialogue, and to create opportunity. If you were to look at my LinkedIn site, you'd see much of that which we are going to talk about this afternoon. You'll see the way in which I've used LinkedIn and how my site has developed over time. I now have over 18,000 connections on LinkedIn, built up over very many years, over very many different marketplaces, including our own language services ecosystem. And that can only come about because some things have worked and some things have worked well. So let's kick off by exploring why LinkedIn is one of the best resources for connections. It is actually a personal brand builder. If you think of yourself as a brand, if you think of yourself as that which others will look to fill a gap in their system, to add value to that which they do, that LinkedIn is probably the most cost-effective tool in your armory to actually ensure that your personal brand is seen by as many people as can possibly see it without needing to invest big sums of money. It does demand an investment of time, but putting that time in means that you can actually build a much more successful personal brand. And you can engage in a very sincere way with a much wider audience through LinkedIn. There are those who abuse the system, who as soon as they connect with you will send you the opportunity to buy their service, to buy their product. Those are the individuals that get blocked very quickly on LinkedIn. If you approach LinkedIn in a very sincere way, with a good heart, to create openness, to create networking, to create dialogue opportunities, you'll find that your audience gets wider and wider and wider. So don't approach LinkedIn from the point of view is, as soon as I've got a connection with somebody, I want to actually sell myself to them. No. You link, when you connect with people, you actually want to ensure that they get to see value in having a dialogue with you. And it is tapping into a vast network with infinite opportunities. One of the ways in which my LinkedIn site, my LinkedIn page has grown is that very early on, I linked in with those who already had big networks. And through that, the opportunities kept growing and kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. But it needs planning. You need to think through that which you want to do and how you want to go about it. It also needs a consistent approach. It's not all going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time. There are going to be disturbances. You're going to get let down. There are going to be times where you want to just give up because it doesn't seem to be paying off. Stick with it. Like all good things, it takes time and effort. But you can build a very effective, robust network. So, a robust network, but to do what? Well, we called this session to actually gain engagement. So you only gain engagements through lots of other processes beforehand, and it all comes down to actually creating that network. But let's just understand how people do use LinkedIn. What do they want to do with LinkedIn? What do they want LinkedIn to achieve for them? Well, clearly we want engagement. We want the opportunity to actually earn. That has to be at the bedrock of everything, all the effort that we put into making LinkedIn work for us. We want to build and cement peer relationships, because through those peer relationships, when information is shared freely amongst groups of individuals who share the same ethical center, who are approaching the same issues, the same problems, by sharing information through peer relationships, we can save a great deal of time and effort for ourselves, and also we can learn from each other. Generation of leads. What do we mean by leads? Well, a lead perhaps might be the key individuals in particular courts. A lead might be information about particular desk sergeants with particular constabularies. A lead might be some of the individuals that we need to engage with at the center of public services. Through lead generation, we create a business-to-business, a B2B networking opportunities with public organizations. And this can only get stronger and stronger as time goes on, as we help each other, as we share the knowledge that we have. And through that, we create much sounder, much more solid bases of contacts, which can be used to get our messages across. And networking with the agencies too. With those privately owned agencies which are geared towards delivering profits for their owners, but they are still within our ecosystem, acting as engagement agents on behalf of the public sector. The more we know about them, the more we connect with them, then the closer our relationships can be, and we've got a stronger opportunity to make sure that our messages are getting through to the senior management within those agencies. What else do you want to achieve? Well, perhaps it's to join specific LinkedIn groups, certain groups which are geared towards our ecosystem. There may be specific groups for different associations, for different institutes. Look and explore all the different groups that you might be able to join with, and that's another great way to actually expand your connection base. So what are the basics? What are the basics with LinkedIn? How do you build your foundations to make sure that you get yourself an all-star profile? Well, first of all, choose the right profile picture. There are some who suggest you should look one way. There are some who suggest you should look the other way. There are some who suggest you should look directly. There are some who suggest you should be further away with your photograph. There are some who suggest you should be closer to it. There's some who suggest you smile. There are some who suggest that you should be dressed up in the nines. So as a bloke, you'd be suited and booted. Find the picture that best summarizes you. And know clearly you can change it. If you look at it over a period of time, you want that picture to change, then you can change it. What's my advice? A little bit more relaxed. Side profile, profile, not side, three-quarter profile, and a smile on your face. That's the image that I've chosen for myself, and it works incredibly well in terms of ensuring that people know what you look like, and there's a warmth and a friendliness, and people can see your features. Ensure you've got a background photo. Don't just allow it to be the blue background. The message that sends is, I've not been bothered. I've not been bothered to actually find another image that really portrays who I am and what I'm about. You'll notice on my site that the image there is one of Canary Wharf. Why? Because I live in Poplar. Canary Wharf is in Poplar. It is a view from my home. and it shows I'm an urban creature, and that I love London as my city. Each and every person choose something to say something about yourself and put it in that background behind the image of yourself. When it comes to the headline, make it more than just a job title. Hard for me in my current role, because it's such a long job title, with Executive Director and Registrar of NRPSI, but let it say something more about you as an interpreter, as a translator, as a professional in the language services ecosystem, as somebody working in serving the public sector. Let your headline say much about you. Registrant in the National Register, say so. CIOL member, say so. Member of the AIT, say so. Let it be seen very quickly who you are. And in the summary that shows directly underneath your picture, directly underneath your headline, let that summary tell a story. Let that summary tell a story about yourself. Let it, in the first paragraph, really summarize you, and then for the rest of the story to elaborate on that which you've said in the first paragraph. It's an old media trick. A good news story tells everything that the reader needs to read in the first paragraph. The rest of it is an expansion of that first paragraph. So turn your summary into a story, make the first paragraph the one that's most important. Declare war on buzzwords. You may understand a particular buzzword, your direct peers may understand a particular buzzword, but once people step out of our profession, might they not understand what those buzzwords are? So try to use words in common usage rather than words which are specific to our profession. So how do we go about growing our network? How do we build our audience? Well, first and foremost, ask people to join you on LinkedIn. Find the influencers, find those who've got very large networks already. Get them to link with you, and then that will help you expand your network. Look at the lists of the people who are connected to you, and look at those people who are on those lists and ask them whether or not they would come to join you. There is no harm in reaching out to them. But make sure you say a few words. Make sure you say a few words when you reach out so that people understand why it is that you're reaching out. It's not to sell them something. It's actually to be able to share information that's going to be of use professionally. So ask them to join you. There is absolutely no shame in asking people to join you. And then when people do join you, always write a message and a thank you. So you write your message to go out. Once they've joined you, you write a message again and give them a thank you as well. It shows that you are prepared to commit time and energy. You're prepared to actually grow your network. It's a network where you're going to be stimulating dialogue. Ask for recommendations. Get the recommendations, and recommendations come really in two ways through LinkedIn. There's the endorsement section and then the written testimonials. There's a section on LinkedIn where you can hit a button where you then speak to every single one of your contacts and say, would you be prepared to write a testimonial about me? Or would you be prepared to endorse me? And this is something you should look at doing on a regular basis, perhaps once every 3 months, to go to those people who you know on your list, as your list has grown, and ask whether they would be prepared to write a testimonial about you. Let me do that now. Let me ask you, those of you who know me, those of you who have interacted with me, go to my LinkedIn site, have a look at it, look at my testimonials. You'll see quite a few of them. And if you feel moved to write one, write one. I am very happy to ask you to either endorse me or to write a testimonial on my LinkedIn site. Through this, it will strengthen me, it will strengthen my profile, which then strengthens the National Register, which then strengthens each and every registrant, which strengthens our case when lobbying and advocating with government and the public sector. If you see somebody looking to come and connect with you, you're not sure about them, you look at their site, it looks a bit thin, they don't seem to have put too much effort into this. If there's something that sparks you off to say, actually, no, I don't want to connect, there's absolutely no harm in turning them down. Now, how do I begin to generate being seen? What's my generative activity? So that that which I put in is getting spotted and I'm getting some sort of reaction. When you see a comment from somebody in your network which you like, then make sure you like it. To add weight to that, if you share, it will go out to a wider audience. To get yourself really noticed, add a comment. Even if it's just agree totally. Even if it's just, thank you for posting this, I'm glad somebody has. If it's something that you feel can be added, then do so. Add a comment onto the others' posts. You'll notice the little hashtag at the end there. Once you've made your comment, hashtag, no space, but hashtag NRPSI, hashtag Her Majesty's Courts Tribunal Service, hashtag police, whatever it's about, hashtag, because that will then spread the message even further. That way you will get noticed by a wider group of people. Many of them will want to come back to you and say, hey, I'd like to link with you because what you're saying, what you've shared from somebody else is valuable and it's useful. That will generate activity. If you like, share, add comment, and then hashtag, you will begin to stimulate more response back to you. With this comes a responsibility to put your own shorts in. And by shorts, I mean a short piece. It might be 50 words, it might be 60 words. Something that you've spotted, something that you've seen, something that you think needs to be brought to a wider audience. Maybe a news story from one of the newspapers, and you can put a link on there. Again, hashtag those that you wish to come and see the piece. Every now and again, I would heartily advise writing a longer piece. And on LinkedIn, there's an opportunity where you can actually write a much longer piece than's allowed in the short posts. Might be 600 words, might be 800 words. Anything longer than 800 words will tend not to get read. 600 words is a really good length. So you've got an issue that you wish to address, there's something you want to talk about, something that you think an audience is going to be interested in, write a longer piece. And again, hashtag this so that others who are focused on whatever that hashtag might be, police, courts, CIOL, AIT, NRPSI, you hashtag that, it'll get bigger, it'll get noticed more. My experience, the shorts will get seen by a wider audience. The longer pieces, you'll have a smaller audience, but they will really dig in and dive through that which you've written, and that way you're getting your story across, your narrative across, what's important to you. So it's a mixture. Like, share, add comment on others' posts, post your own shorts, could be links from all sorts of different sources, and every now and again, write a longer piece. Explore LinkedIn to widen the amount of information that you're able to pick up. Join professional groups, participate in those groups, and keep your LinkedIn profile up to date. If things change, make sure your LinkedIn changes with it. And that could be as far as changing your pictures too. It's a great tool to create a lot of interest in you and who you are. Because then again, once people have seen you, once they know you, perhaps they're people at the centre of the Metropolitan Police, perhaps people at the Leicestershire Language Services Unit, as we've said earlier, perhaps sergeants and officers in the custody suites, perhaps those who are running individual courts, perhaps it's those at the centre of the courts. You found their name, you want to link with them, you have linked with them. And then your colleagues as well, plus also those people that you may well communicate with on a regular basis at the agencies. Get linked in with them, search their name, find out who they are, invite them to come in, show them that you like, share and comment on others' posts, show them that you write your own short pieces, show them that you write longer pieces. And through this process, you will generate dialogue, you'll generate engagement, and through engagement will come engagements, which will lead to money. So building these relationships, relationship marketing, you're building rapport. Somebody makes a comment, put a comment in yourself. Be wary of negative comments. LinkedIn is very much a professional, business-orientated environment. If you start posting negative comments, then people become afeared of you. They wonder whether you may well end up making a negative comment about them. So be wary of negative comments. You'll have noticed, some of you, with some of the posts that I put out, when situations become difficult with a particular public sector, when there's a particularly negative issue that's risen, we as the National Register, I as an individual, will post that something horrible has happened or something awful's going on, but it's never negative about other individuals. So build rapport, create the opportunity for rapport. And through that, you'll develop relationships. Once somebody started to respond to you and you're responding back to them, don't let it fall by the wayside. Nurture that. You may find that through LinkedIn, you want to just send messages direct to them. That is available. There's the LinkedIn Messenger service, which works incredibly well. And I built up some wonderful relationships with individuals in our ecosystem, but also previously as a management consultant, and indeed working in corporates, where LinkedIn Messenger becomes the platform where we communicate on a regular basis, and you can truly develop valuable relationships off the back of LinkedIn. Ask questions, get people to respond. You can ask questions in your posts, and then people will come up with answers, and through this you'll begin again to ensure that you are generating positive activity and creating the opportunity to be seen more. So reward answers with your comments back, so that you're showing people it's worthy to actually write to me, it's worthy to make a comment on what I've posted, because you will get an answer back. Create active dialogue, and don't walk away from contradictory comments. If somebody said something which is very contradictory to what you've said, embrace it. Thank them for adding to the debate, but don't walk away from it. Walking away from it means that perhaps you're not prepared to defend that which you said. You're not prepared to enter into reflection. So show that you are prepared to enter into reflection. The people who will see that comment from you, not only the one who you are answering back, but also everybody else who's looking. Everybody else will see how you've handled that. So you treat your news feeds as if it's a networking event. Remember the days when we all met in a hall where we would gather prior to sitting either in a conference venue or at a CPD? Well, treat LinkedIn as your virtual networking event, but on a regular basis. And maximizing these efforts. What exactly works best? Well, we've talked already about the picture of you. Make sure you're happy with it. Make sure it shows you in your best light. Open, smiling, three-quarter look, good picture. Use videos. People will click onto videos. They'll come and look on videos. So use videos. Use other pictures to illuminate what you're writing about. So when you're doing your own short, when you're doing your own piece, there is an opportunity to actually add a photograph, have that photograph sitting on your computer in your photo section. You hit the little camera icon, you'll be able to search your pictures and bring your picture forward. Press done. Then you add your few words for short with a hashtag for those who you definitely want to see it. Add pictures, get more notice. We've talked about the short pieces. We've talked about the longer, thoughtful, reflective articles. We've talked about sharing others' work with a comment from you. Be consistent. Be consistent and frequent. How frequent? At least 20 posts a month. Not all the same. Some of them will be the likes and shares of somebody else's work. Some of them will be your own that you're adding. Some, and maybe perhaps one a month, longer piece. Normally 20 working days in a 4-week month. So think to yourself, it's one post a day. The longer piece will take you longer. Your own pieces will take you longer than putting other people's work out. Find a mix that works for you. But it is this sort of consistency that will enable you to maximize your efforts. Because think about the effort you've gone through. You've put your picture up. You've put a background picture up. You've made sure that the executive summary about yourself really sums you up. Your first paragraph tells a full story, plus anything else that you've wanted to add. You're using pictures in your homepage to liven it up. You're getting recommendations. You're getting endorsements. You're getting people writing testimonials about you because you've asked for them. There's no harm in that, no shame in asking at all. So to maximize this, to make sure that's working for you, you need to build your base so you keep inviting people to come on board. You look at those who've come on board, you see who else they've got, you say, oh yes, I'd like those to be on my network too. And so you send them invites out. Make sure then you're feeding this network. Feed this network with at least 20 posts a month, sort of mixture that we've just described. And that's my photograph that's up on LinkedIn. So I think that's probably not a bad place to stop. Be interesting to hear your questions, your thoughts, your problems, issues that you may have had. And you may be a first timer. You may never have got onto LinkedIn. You may be somebody who's been on LinkedIn for a long time, and you may have 24,000 connections. So let's share our knowledge of LinkedIn. Let's share our working of LinkedIn. Let's add to this, treat it as a base, a foundation from which we can all improve that which we do. We can all create a greater chance for us to win engagements. We can all be part of the lobbying and the advocacy for professionalism within our ecosystem and make much greater use of what is a superb marketing tool. It's free, just takes time. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.